Her phone ran out of battery, but the Wi-Fi login was all I needed to uncover her lies. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. There it was, right in front of me, the Wi-Fi login page on her phone, just sitting there, waiting for me to click it. I'd been pacing around the apartment for the last half hour, growing more and more frustrated with her lack of response. We had agreed to meet up after work. She'd even told me she was leaving early to get a head start on dinner. But now, here I was, waiting in the silence, feeling my chest tighten with every minute that passed. It wasn't the first time something had felt off. Over the last few weeks, her behavior had been different, distant, distracted. Little things at first. She'd cancel plans last minute, work late, or just need some space. But the more she pulled away, the more I started noticing things that didn't add up. The late nights, the random excuses, the texts she would send that never seemed to line up with what she was actually doing. I tried to ignore it, try to chalk it up to stress or overthinking, but it had been building. And now, her phone running out of battery was the final straw. I grabbed her phone off the kitchen counter, my heart racing. It wasn't like I had never looked at her phone before. We were always open with each other, no secrets. That's what I had told myself anyway. But now, with the Wi-Fi login screen in front of me, it felt like I was doing something I couldn't undo. I stared at the screen for a few seconds, frozen. Should I do this? I kept asking myself. But before I could second-guess it, I pressed the login button. It wasn't like I thought there would be some huge revelation. Maybe just some text messages from her friends, maybe something about work, who knows. But what happened next? I wasn't ready for that. The moment the Wi-Fi connected, I saw her recent app activity. It was the kind of thing I had never noticed before, hidden in plain sight. And it was all right there. I felt the ground shift beneath me. I wasn't sure if it was adrenaline or fear, but my hands started to shake. There were dozens of messages, and none of them were from her friends. There were threads of conversations, deep, intimate ones with a name I didn't recognize. Sam. And those weren't the worst of it. The worst part was the tone, the way she spoke to him, the way she'd never spoken to me. Flirty, affectionate, teasing. I felt my heart stop. I scrolled further, feeling like I was losing my breath with every swipe. Can't wait to see you tonight, one text read. Another. I miss you, babe. I can't stop thinking about you. My stomach churned. Babe? My vision blurred for a second, and I leaned against the kitchen counter, trying to catch my breath. Was this really happening? My hands were clammy, cold, and I couldn't seem to shake the feeling that the walls around me were closing in. I had trusted her, and now, everything I thought I knew felt like it was being ripped away. I'd always prided myself on being the kind of guy who didn't jump to conclusions, who believed in trust and honesty. But now I was staring at the cold, hard evidence in front of me. How long had this been going on? The worst part? She hadn't even bothered to delete any of it. She'd left it all sitting there, waiting for me to find it. That alone felt like a betrayal, a slap in the face. I thought I was going to be sick. I couldn't stand it. I tossed the phone down onto the couch and went to the window, trying to steady myself. Just think, I told myself over and over. What now? I had two choices. I could confront her now, demand answers, or I could wait. I could wait until she got home and let the weight of her lies fall on her the moment she walked in. The anger in me wanted to call her immediately. How could you do this to me? But a part of me knew I had to hold back. I couldn't let myself explode just yet. I had to find out everything. I took a few deep breaths and grabbed her phone again. I went back to the texts, the conversations with Sam, and scrolled through each one, trying to piece together the timeline. The more I read, the more I could feel the crushing weight of the lies building in my chest. There were dates, times, planned for hotel rooms, even notes about their next weekend getaway. This was real. She had been seeing him behind my back. She had planned a future with him, while I was sitting here, clueless. I couldn't breathe. My thoughts were spiraling, and all I could do was sit there in stunned silence. I thought of all the times we had spent together, all the laughs, all the conversations I thought were genuine. Had it all been a lie? Had she really been seeing someone else while pretending to love me? I need to know more. I went back to the phone, looking for any other clues, any way to figure out exactly how long this had been going on. That's when I saw the photos. They weren't sexual, but the intimacy in them was undeniable. There were pictures of her, smiling, laughing, with Sam. And it was clear as day, that she had been hiding them. There was no reason for these pictures to be on her phone unless they were meant to be hidden, unless she was hiding something. They were taken in places we had never gone together, places she'd never mentioned. There were even photos of them on a trip together, posing in front of a landmark. How long had this been going on? The thought hit me like a hammer. And it wasn't just about the physical cheating, it was the emotional betrayal that hurt the most. All these things she had shared with him, things that I should have been a part of, things that were ours, but she'd kept them from me. At that moment, I wanted nothing more than to throw the phone across the room, to scream at her for every lie, for every time she made me feel like I was crazy for questioning her. But I didn't. Instead, I just sat there, staring at the phone, feeling the weight of everything I had just uncovered. I wasn't sure what to do. Confront her now? Wait until she got home? I wanted to demand the truth, but what if there was more? What if I hadn't seen everything yet? The only thing I knew for sure was that I couldn't go on pretending anymore. We were done, but I wasn't ready to let her off easy. I needed answers. And more than that, I needed her to know that I knew. The sound of the door opening broke through my thoughts, and my heart jumped into my throat. She was home. Part 2. The door clicked shut behind her, and I heard her keys hit the counter. Her footsteps were light, almost like she was trying to sneak around, but I knew it wasn't necessary. She thought I was just sitting there waiting like I always did. She didn't know that everything had changed. I stayed frozen in place, the phone still clenched in my hand. I could feel my heartbeat in my throat, every pulse feeling louder than the last. It wasn't just the anger anymore. It was a mixture of hurt and disbelief, a sinking feeling that I was losing everything. The woman I thought I knew, the life I thought we had built. It was all slipping away, piece by piece. She came into the living room, her eyes lighting up when she saw me. Her smile faltered for a fraction of a second, but she quickly covered it up like she always did when something was off. She didn't know I was on to her yet. "Hey," she said softly, setting her purse down on the couch. "Sorry I'm late. Work stuff ran longer than I thought. How was your day?" I didn't answer right away. I couldn't. I was still trying to process everything, the lies, the betrayal. I wanted to say something, but I had no idea how to even start. How do you confront someone you love, someone you trusted, when you know they've been lying to your face the whole time? She looked at me, waiting for a response, but I just couldn't bring myself to smile, to pretend like everything was fine. "You were with him, weren't you?" I finally said, my voice flat, barely above a whisper. Her face froze. The color drained from her cheeks, and her eyes darted around the room, like she was looking for an escape. But there was no escape. Not this time. I wasn't going to let her out of this one. "What?" She laughed nervously, the pitch of her voice rising a little too high. "What are you talking about?" I stood up and walked over to the couch, dropping her phone in front of her with a loud thud. It felt like I was finally releasing all the tension that had been building up for weeks. My hands were shaking, but I held my ground. "I'm talking about Sam, the guy you've been seeing behind my back." Her eyes flickered down to the phone. Her face went pale as she saw the screen, the open messages, the pictures. She opened her mouth to speak, but the words didn't come. Instead, she closed her eyes and let out a long, shaky breath, like she was already preparing for the fallout. "Please," she started, her voice cracking. "Just let me explain." "Explain?" I laughed bitterly, shaking my head. "What is there to explain, Emma? You've been sleeping with him, texting him, making plans with him while I'm sitting here thinking everything is fine." My chest was tight, the words coming out before I even had time to think. "How long? How long has this been going on?" I didn't mean for it to happen like this," she said softly, her voice trembling. She was trying to reach for my hand, but I pulled it back, not wanting to touch her. "It was a mistake. I was confused. I never meant to hurt you." "Confused?" I asked, the word like acid in my mouth. "Confused about what? What exactly were you confused about, Emma?" "You were texting him, 'I miss you,' and making plans to go away for the weekend." "That doesn't sound like confusion. It sounds like you were making a choice." My breath caught in my throat as I felt the rawness of it hit me. "You chose him, Emma, And now I'm supposed to just let it go. Her face crumpled, and she broke down, the tears falling freely now. I'm sorry, she whispered over and over, like the words were supposed to fix everything. I never wanted to hurt you. I never wanted to fall for him. It just happened. The words stung like nothing I had ever felt before. You didn't want to fall for him? What does that even mean? My voice broke, and I had to stop for a second to steady myself. I thought we were happy. I thought I was the only one for you. I gave you everything. I know, she said, wiping her face with the back of her hand. And I hate myself for it. I never meant to betray you. I love you. I really do. But I don't know what happened. I just started feeling distant, and Sam was there. He listened to me when I was upset, when I felt like you were pulling away. Pulling away? The words echoed in my mind, making me dizzy. All the time she'd seemed distant. All the time she'd canceled plans or been vague about where she was. It wasn't just work stress. It wasn't just her being tired or busy. She had been seeing someone else, and I had been too blind to see it. How could I not see it? Is that what this was? I asked, my voice shaking with rage now. You were just lonely? You couldn't come to me, talk to me about it, but instead you go behind my back and let someone else in? I don't care how upset you were, Emma. This isn't something you just fall into. You made a choice. Every time you answered his texts, every time you met him, you made that choice. She let out a soft sob, covering her face with her hands. I know. I'm sorry, and I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't deserve it. I stared at her, the woman I had trusted more than anyone else in the world, the woman I thought I knew better than myself. And now, she was sitting in front of me, broken and apologizing, but it was too late. The trust, the foundation of everything we had, was shattered beyond repair. I didn't want to feel sorry for her. I didn't want to feel anything but anger. But the truth was, I still loved her. The thought of walking away from her, of losing everything we had, felt like a weight I couldn't bear to carry. But I couldn't keep pretending. I couldn't keep looking at her and seeing the person she used to be, when all I could feel now was the pain of her betrayal. I can't do this, Emma, I said finally, my voice hollow. I can't be here anymore. I can't pretend this didn't happen. Her eyes widened and her breath caught. She reached out for me again, but I stepped back, shaking my head. I need to go, I said quietly, not trusting my voice. I need space. I need to think. I don't know what happens next, but I can't stay here with you. I grabbed my jacket, my keys, and walked toward the door, my heart pounding in my chest. I didn't even look back. I couldn't. As I stepped into the hallway and closed the door behind me, I finally allowed myself to breathe. But even as I did, the weight of everything still pressed down on me. I had no idea what came next, or if there even was a next for us. All I knew was that I couldn't stay in a mess she had created, and I wasn't sure I ever could.